For years, we have heard the theory of evolution being taught from almost every education system around. The National Science Teachers Association believes that evolution is a unifying concept in science and that should be emphasized in schools. They do not view the creationist perspective as a science and believe it has no business being taught in a classroom. Evolution is taught as a fact, even though it's really an unproven theory. Today, I would like to share with you the truth about both evolution and biblical creation. What do evolutionists believe? The theory of evolution did not begin with Charles Darwin, as many of us have been led to believe. The first theory of evolution was actually introduced by Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck. He based his theory on 4 assumptions. 1, that organisms continually increase in size. 2, that new organs result from new needs. 3, new organs develop due to use and degenerate due to disuse. And 4, these modifications are passed on to the offspring, eventually resulting in a new species. Ahad states that Darwin took Lamarck's theory and expanded it. Darwin taught evolution using the theory of natural selection. According to the website All About Science, natural selection is the idea that if an animal loses or gains a function, it will be passed on to its offspring. Another thing that scientists use to prove evolution is fossils. Peacock states in his article, 5 Proofs of Evolution, that these fossils are millions of years old and are changing over time. They use these fossils to try to link animals that are said to have evolved from each other. Evolutionists believe that every organism on Earth originated from one common ancestor. They use the fact of common DNA to try to prove this theory. We have 90% of our DNA in common with apes. They use this to try to prove that we have evolved from apes. I have a picture of the stages that they use to try to prove their theory that we evolved from ape. This is the young person. And these are the stages that they believe to have happened. These are just pictures that people drew of their imaginations of what it looked like. No one really saw this happen. So, anyways, we've all kind of seen those pictures. Anyways, now that you know some of what evolutionists believe, I'd like to share with you what creationists believe. Unlike evolutionists, creationists believe and teach that all species were created separately. The fact that we have common DNA is proof of a common designer. According to Patterson, variations in species is a result of rearranged DNA, not the development of new DNA. And we use an example of dogs. If you have 2 dogs, they will both pass their part of their DNA to the puppy. The puppy has pieces of DNA from both parents. Because the DNA has been rearranged, it gives the puppy new characteristics, but not new DNA, just existing DNA in a different order. We were all created in God's image. Acts 17:21 says, God has made all men of one blood. Now that you know the views from both sides, I'd like to point out some of the fallacies of the theory of evolution. No one has ever seen evolution take place. If this is true and evolution really did happen, it would still be happening today. We see gaps in the stages of evolution, as you saw in the picture I showed you previously. Morris, from the Institute of Creational Science, discusses the point that there has never been a time when an organism has ever given life to new DNA. Now that you're aware of some of the holes in the theory of evolution, why should we believe the Bible and agree with the creationist perspective. We were all created by God. Genesis 1:1 declares that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. He created humans and animals separately and according to his purpose. Many people use the theory of evolution to escape the truth. They do not want to acknowledge God and his authority. Psalms 14:1 says that a fool says in his heart, there is no God. When God created our world, he looked at it and said it was good. There was no imperfection or sin in the world until the fall of man. The more that we study evolution, the more we see that science actually confirms the Bible. And the video from Answers in Genesis helps to prove this confirmation. So the more we research and study the theory of evolution, the more we see its fallacies and that science actually confirms the Bible. Evolution is not a science. It is a theory or belief that must be blindly accepted because there is no solid proof to support it. I hope that this speech has shown you the truth about both evolution and creation. We need to put the teaching of creation back into our education systems and stop running from the truth. Jesus said that and that ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. John 8.